Yeah, welcome to the channel. I thought today I'd just talk about and give a bit of a review. Now I've had this next gen 11.5 kayak for a few months. Thought I'd just give a bit of a review as to how I've set it up finally, and what I'm satisfied with, and things I think that I could have improved. But just thought I'd just go through this because there's a few people have been asking about them. So this is the next gen 11.5 kayak. Which, as I said, I've had for a few months. I really like the kayak. It's actually been excellent. It's my first kayak I've ever had, so pretty happy with it. But some of the things I do like, I'll just go through, or all of it that I do like, I'll just go through in case you haven't had a look at these. So bought this out of Adelaide, from the Kayaks to Fish people, online pretty well for about $2,200. And that was with everything bar some of the bits which I'll explain I've added. So got these great handles which are really solid, and also they've got a track in the top of them which is excellent in case you want to add anything onto it, such as your rail blazer sort of fittings like these. I've sort of put an extra one there, but that's more of a spare for me at the moment. When you come back to the front, this is a paddle holder. It's supposed to be, so when you're cruising around, you're supposed to have your paddle sitting in there and it's supposed to be fine. But I actually found that the paddle really got in my way. So I've done away with that whole idea, and I've gone to these rail blazer paddle holders, because the paddle comes in two parts, which suits me. And what I do is I just clip them in like that. So while I'm paddling along, I've got a paddle either side. I do tether them, which I've made these tethers up, and I just tether them onto the kayak, so that I know that if this does come off, it's going to just not be wandering away from me, that I can't just grab it. So that's that. Then you've got the front hatch here, which is very good. The only thing I found is when I got this, these screws that were in, they just had a Tech screw that went through and into the plastic to here, and one of them basically kept falling out, and I realized that the Tech screw had just stripped out. So what I did, I drilled both out, put in some stainless, a nut with Nylox, and that works really well, so I don't have any issue. It locks pretty well. It is pretty waterproof, I'd say. I've got a rubber seal around here all the way around. It comes with this bag that's an insert that you can take out. I normally store my buggy wheels, my trolley wheels, when I'm out in the water, and I have the towel just in there just in case I need a towel, and also it just stops some of the noise from the wheels if they move around a bit. And I've just got some basic stuff in this, so yeah, nothing worth mentioning, but that works really well. Coming down the side here, I'll just take that off. Coming down the side here, I put this anchor trolley on. After looking on the net a fair bit, I wasn't really happy with some of the stuff that you could buy online. Most of them I didn't like the cord that they came with, but this one I actually added on. I've used the blind rivets system, and I've put a lump of bungee on here, and that's just so that when if you're in a bit of a swell, the tension's not directed through to the kayak itself. The bungee actually picks up quite a bit of the actual pull, and it's not just jerking the kayak around so much. So that's just on some of the stuff I learned from YouTubing it and having a look. This is like a parachute cord, but a decent one that I got from the Scout shop. I've used stainless components with the exception of this, and you can see this is aluminium. It's already corroding a bit, so that's why I went with stainless. This is the lock for it, so when I've got it in the position where I want, whether I want it at the front of the kayak or the rear, I can just lock it in, and it works really well. So yeah, that's been good. This is the rudder system on the Kayak to Fish. When you're coming into shore, you need to sort of let this go, but when you're out and about, it does have a really good rudder. This drops down. It's only because it's not wet at the moment, but You can see it's a decent sized rudder, and it does give you really good rudder control when you're cruising around. I've had this out and about all over the place, and it pretty well, if you're really hooking along, it will turn in its own length pretty well. And then when you come in, you just lock it into this. I haven't had that slip. It's worked fairly well, and I've just tied it off to the side handle. These are cup holders, which I do use. These are great, these things. These are your tackle box holders, or whatever you want to put in the tray in this area here. But I found that these ones here work really well, the Shimano ones, and I have those sitting next to me. Easy to access via your seat. I've got one either side. They're really good, and they've got this clip just to hold it in. I suppose that's in case you do flip it over at some stage. The seat, I find I do get a bit of a sore ass after a few hours, so I've put this on there. It's just a bit of the old egg cup carton foam. And underneath, this is really great, this thing. This is the, let's get rid of that. This is the tray that is an extra, although it came with mine as part of the early order deal. And this carries all your bits and pieces that you might want to carry, but it's really accessible to you when you're fishing, and then you can slide it and get it out the way. So that's really good, and I'd highly recommend those. And you can lock it in position with that, but very, very easy to use. And they're a good size. You can see it's right under the whole seat there. So that's been very good. Behind the seat, you've got this sort of area, depending on where you sit, you set your seat length up. And I'll get to the pedal drive in a minute, because I did learn something after a few days. The seat, I've got it set in the middle one here. So it's 3 of these. I've set mine in the middle. When you're paddling, it was lifting up and down like that, which was a bit annoying, but I've worked that out, and that's more to do with your leg length than anything else, and that works really well. This is something I've come up with, and it's mainly just as an emergency bit of a kit, a bit of tool if I need it. I figured if I get ditched into the water at some stage and I need to be able to pull myself back onto the kayak, I've got these, or this here. This is just a bit of electrical conduit, and if the kayak was upside down, I just drop this through one of the scupper holes and either end, and then I've got something to actually pull on. So if I just rip this scupper hole, there's one there. So if I just drop it through the scupper hole like that, well, the wheels are in the way, but yeah, if I drop it like that and I pull on it, it's locked. It's locked in. And then, but if I do this from the other side, because if the kayak's upside down, I can then just pull on this and flip the kayak back over pretty easy. And also, if it's upright like it is now, I can always use that just as a pull point to pull myself back into the kayak. Even though I'm pretty comfortable, I could easily just climb back into the kayak. I can just still use that, and it doesn't take up bugger all room in the kayak, so I've just got that. And all it is, as I've said, is 2 bits of conduit. It's just stuck because of the wheels. Get that out afterwards. Yeah, that works really well. Coming back here, so we've got the rod holders. These are great, but they do fill up with water. So if you're not using them and you're out in the water, you want to put the lid back on them. Otherwise you'll be getting a towel or a sponge or something to empty them out, or tip the kayak over. Behind the seat here, I've got my anchor, and I've just put it in a stubby holder to keep it quiet. And this has got a tether on it, so I can clip it on wherever I am when I'm going to use the anchor. And I've also got that quick release for my anchor, which is just this here. If I want to dump the anchor, I can just take it out of that and it's gone. So that works really well at the moment. I've bought one of these in Adelaide. You got Paramount Browns. These online are like $30, and I just bought this one. They got a waterproof seal around the lid, and I've just got some basics first aid kit, and I normally put my phone and keys in that, and that sits nicely behind my seat, and I can reach it really easily because I just lift the handle and pull it out, get what I want, put it back. It works well. This is where I put my battery. Let's release that a bit. This is standard on the 11.5, and it's a really good storage area. So I just have I put my battery in this. I've actually got a Velcro. I've worked out now I want to put some Velcro under this and stick some Velcro to the hull, and my battery sits in that, and that's the lead that goes from my battery to my sounder, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but that's basically how I've got that. And this battery box I've got at Paramount Brands again for like $10, and that works really well, but I'll come back to that in a minute. I bought one of these Eskies. It's a June. I bought it in, I think, Anaconda, and that does for everything I need if I need an Esky or to dump some fish, and it's really light, so that's been good. I do have some clips on it, and I just clip it into my bungee that's on the back. I just clip it in like that, so I know it won't go anywhere. The scupper holes, the plugs, are pretty tight when you get these. I normally have like a couple in and a couple out in each area. The Kayak does come with pads. I bought these came because I ordered it early. I got the full set of pads, and these are really good. They're really quiet. Coming to the back of the Kayak, this one here I haven't turned up the other way, which has got the rail mount in underneath it, because at the moment I don't think I'm going to be mounting anything on the rear. But if I do, I can easily undo the screws, turn it over, and I can rail mount. And all these screws here, they're all brass, even though they've got a bit of the old copper colouring from corrosion on them. They're apparently for your electric motor mount or whatever else you want to do. So they've thought about it. Just another thing is underneath the Kayak here, you got these handles either side. I don't know if, hopefully you can see them. They're really good if you just want to lift it. But I use the rail here. This rail's really good. So, but they're a good thought when they've made the Kayak, moulded it. It's really good. Then you got your bung, obviously, if you've got water in there. I have checked inside the Kayak numerous times after being about 6-7 hours out on the water, and I haven't had anything more than like a couple of drops of water in it. I haven't had anything that's run, which is good. More rails. I put these in because these here were pretty well useless for putting fishing rods in. So I've just extended up, got a bit of PVC pipe, just coloured it so they don't stand out like the proverbial. And I can drop the rods in those when I'm going out, and they work well for me. This is the rudder control, as in your left and right, and that is really good. The only thing I'd suggest with this is when you get it, don't tighten these up straight away. Wait until you've been out in the water a bit and you'll work out, but I've got it right now, it's fine. More tethers for stuff like my fishing rods and stuff like that. I've got a bit of bungee on my chopping board for if I'm using bait. This is I'll just talk about these as well. This is the rod holder that it comes with. They're okay. I wouldn't rave about them because this end here is only good for light rods. It doesn't take a decent rod with a decent stock on it. And then the same with these are the rail blazers. I'm okay with it, but you can see that they flex around a fair bit, so I'm a bit worried about how much that will take before I might end up having the rod in. I did have a day where I had a fish on here, and the design of these is such that I think they're designed to twist without snapping, and this thing was twisted right around, and it didn't break. And the stainless is obviously good because there's absolutely no corrosion on them, so that's all good. Pretty well that's it. I will do another video in a minute about the sounder. Oh, what I was going to say, that's right, about this. So when you get your seat and you're set up and you're using it, these adjustments here, these indicators here, are for whatever leg length you want to set. And these are an absolute dead set copy of the Hobie drive. And honestly, we compared them a few weeks back. A mate has a Hobie, and we compared it, and these are exact in size and everything to the Hobie drive. There's absolutely no difference with them. and they work really well. But I did find that once I'd adjusted these to that length for me, I'm 5'10", that I didn't have any of the seat lift coming up like this, so I was very happy with that. I've actually made this as a little camera mount, and I'll probably go for the Railblazer eventually and put it behind me, but yeah, it's really, really good. So but that's about it. If you like the video, just give us a thumbs up, and I'm going to load another one on just about the GPS, the sounder again. But thanks for watching.